Welcome. It's me, Toby Pika, and this is a series called Unbreakable. This is episode 1, and this is called Born into Chaos. Cleaning up my life wasn't easy. It takes many steps and challenges to keep moving forward to create real positive change, to learn how to move in a way that feels brand new. I had to break out of my comfort zone, leave behind the old habits, and walk away from the past, even when it was pulling me back like quicksand. My name is Toby Pika, and this is my story. I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, in November of 1972. My parents, they were just kids themselves. My mom was 15 and my dad was just turning 18. Two teenagers who thought they were in love. They got married that June with their parents' permission, and a few months later, boom, I arrived. My mom says that I was planned. A baby girl named Tobiana Pika. Sounds like a little town in Italy or something, right? But this little girl, she was special. When born, I became the 5th generation of both sides of my family. It was so rare back then, there was newspaper write-ups about it and everything. And because everyone in my family had their kids so young, I came into this world with 7 grandmothers still alive, including greats and even great-greats. That's the one thing about my beginning. There was a lot of family, but not a lot of stability. My parents were young. The house was full of dysfunction, and I saw a whole lot more than a little girl should ever have to see. There are definitely some pieces of my childhood that I've blocked out, but some memories, they live like a photograph in my mind. Clear, unshakable. There was one night at my grandfather's apartment. That was my mom's father. He was a real heavy Scotch drinker, so he always had a glass on the rocks. His eyes were always bloodshot and covering them piercing blue eyes. I remember I was wearing these baby blue Mickey Mouse pajamas. I had my head on his lap and almost falling asleep. And in that moment, that sick man tried to touch me. I wasn't asleep. I made a noise to let him know that I knew. And when I felt his hand move away, I got up and ran. I ran straight to my mom in the kitchen and I never went back near him ever again. He wasn't the kind of monster hiding under the bed. He was the one sitting in the living room, a man people trusted, a man I was supposed to call family. Years later, he ended up taking his own life. Maybe guilt, maybe fear of going to prison for hurting others. I don't know, but I do know this. I was grateful he did not get the chance to hurt me. And what's worse is my mom knew enough to tell me, lock your bedroom door when he's around. That was her version of protection. On my mom's side, there were layers of darkness, addiction, abuse, secrets no one wanted to say out loud. Her father, my uncles, each with their own storm. One of my uncles, he went to prison for some stuff, and then the other, he got lost in drugs and in the streets. My aunt, the sister, she survived an abusive marriage and came out stronger. That side of my family felt like a house with no foundation. Always cracking, always shifting, never safe. But my dad's side, that was different. That was the Pika family. My dad was my rock. He was the first man I ever loved and the only one I've ever fully respected. He was from the neighborhood. He worked for the city. He fixed buses, he bartended, he hustled, whatever he had to do to keep food on the table. Everybody knew him, everybody respected him, and I was his little girl. I was a daddy's girl through and through. My grandparents on his side gave me something I didn't get anywhere else. Structure, stability, and real love. My grandfather worked as a train man on the railroad. My grandmother, she kept the home and raised the kids. They were old school. What he said was law. There was no disrespect, no talk back, but with the strictness came safety. And because I was the only grandchild for 13 years, I was so spoiled with love and a little bit of everything else. Growing up, I lived between two worlds, one built on love and respect, and the other built on chaos and pain. I watched my parents fight, break up, and use me as a pawn. I carried resentment in my heart long before I even understood what resentment meant. They would be fighting, and me, a little girl, just screaming for them to stop. And that image has never left me. My mom was young. She didn't know how to be a mom. And my dad, he loved me, but he doesn't always fix the cracks. They were both just kids trying to raise a kid. And so I learned early, if I was going to make it, I'd have to raise myself in a lot of ways. I didn't ask to be born into chaos, but I was born with something strong in my blood, a fighter's spirit. And that little girl with those Mickey Mouse pajamas, she grew up to become a woman who refuses to break. This is where my story begins, but it's definitely not where it ends. Next time, I'll tell you about the family ties that shaped me and the lies that almost broke me. This is me, Toby Pica, unbreakable, born into chaos. Stay with me because this is just the beginning.